Right back, y'all. What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? This is Kev here, aka ShankENT. Back again here with another video on today. Hope everybody's having a wonderful either start of your day or have been having a blessed day so far. As y'all can see from the title and the thumbnail, we got some things to talk about, some things that kind of caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting at all whatsoever, but as y'all know, with the NCAA, nothing's impossible. And we're going to get into that in the video. If you're stopping by to my channel for the first time, I appreciate you for joining in. Please leave a like, comment, let me know where you're tapping in from, as well as if you feel up to it, even subscribe to the channel as well. All much is appreciated. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So I was walking and I got a notification that popped up on my phone. And, usually I get notifications from Twitter or X, and they usually tells me if somebody committed or decommitted, stuff like that. Because, a lot of 2026 recruits are making their decisions as to where they may be on into the next coming years. And I got something today, and it said that not Colorado, that's how you know I do a lot of Colorado stuff. I got news that they're opening up another window of the transfer portal. I said, what? I had to make sure that my feed, my timeline, I had to make sure it was up to date. I'm like, what? Transfer portal? Ain't the season about to start? But as I said at the start of this video, nothing is impossible with the NCAA at all. So let's get into it a little bit more. I'm about to pull something up for y'all. So, as it reads here, the NCAA has introduced a new one-time transfer portal window designated for student athletes who are exempt from roster limits. This new window will run from July 7th, which is coming up, to August 5th. Additionally, there are ongoing decisions about potentially shortening and consolidating the existing football transfer portal windows to a single 10-day period. Okay, I love what I read at the end. Finally, it's not 50 million windows. They're in talks about shortening that window. All right, I'm going to get into why I feel like, me personally, it's just my opinion based, why I feel like that's a better idea. So you may be asking me, what does that mean exactly? Like, okay, I heard what you read, but what does that mean? And basically, what that means is, so designated student athletes list. So, schools can place players on a special list. Essentially, it's like if they're not in the team's plan for this upcoming season, essentially they don't want them to waste a year at the school just taking up space if they're not going to gain nothing from it. Like, yes, a program is supposed to have depth pieces due to injury or just changes in the scheme of things, but um, you have those six stringers and seven stringers, and they'll probably never see the field, and they'll never be built into your scheme this year. So they're allowing them the opportunity to basically put their name on a list so that they can go find elsewhere between that time frame of July 7th and what was that? Just literally just read it in August 5th. So, you know, um, and it also just to also add in there, it's not the player's choice. So basically, what they're saying as well is that if the coach decide to put you on there, like that's basically them saying, hey, we'll find another home in this time frame. We don't have a place for you here. Can they stay if they want to? I believe they can. I had to do a little more information on that, a little bit more research on that event, and we'll see. But let's talk about some things as to why this could be happening. So I'm going to give you some pros to this, and I'm going to give you some cons to this, and I'm going to give you also starting off, you know, why the NCAA might be doing this. Nothing's confirmed as to why they may be doing this. It's just what I think, what I have. So the first thing I have is rosters are overcrowded. So every school has a budget due to the NIL. So they could be saying from a financial standpoint, the rosters are overcrowded, and some of these kids are getting paid to just be there existing. Like they're not really producing anything. You know what I mean? So rosters, are overcrowded. Coaches may have too many players after spring ball and just summer workouts as a whole. Like there enough people aren't getting cut, things like that. I don't even think that's really a thing anymore. This just gives them a way just to trim the rosters now. Um, Next, I would have to say more schools. I mean more control for schools with less players. So essentially, what that means by control, who gets access to this transfer window, is what I wrote down. Schools keep the power. Athletes can't decide to transfer; they have to be placed on the list. That's what I'm getting at with that. Okay. Next, I have on my list is going to be just avoiding bad PR, and what that essentially means is instead of cutting players outright, schools can say we supported you by giving you the opportunity. Now you have access to the portal. So they're kind of saving, they kind of saving themselves in a sense, if that makes sense. And you know, it's kind of messed up if you think about it. It's really kind of messed up if you think about it. But hey, here we are. It just looks better for the school, but it still feels like someone's being pushed out in a sense. Which you could be, which you could be being pushed out in the real world. Next is roster management and scholarship. So this helps coaches, essentially manage and just manage scholarships and roster them. So it kind of piggyback back to what I said initially, as far as exceeding the roster limit and budgeting. So I'm not going to really get into that. And the NCAA is trying to fix the system that's already complicated, that they made complicated. So they're trying to figure out some stuff to essentially fix everything. And it's crazy because I was saying to myself probably like 3 weeks ago, I said, what if they open up another window just out of nowhere? Like I was just sitting here just thinking, and it's happening. It's crazy. It's like it's literally happening in front of our eyes. So, man, I don't know. Let's talk about the pros though to this though. Let's get into the meat of things. So good parts that I have written down is opportunities for players that are not in the plan. So just to give them better opportunities. So you know, not everybody's built from the NFL. You know what I mean? Not everybody's going to the NFL, and sometimes your skill set, your talent level, no matter how much you train, you're not top tier. So in a sense, it's kind of giving them another opportunity to go to another program and kind of ball out and shine. That makes sense. So they're not just bodies, which is which is not bad. Which is not bad. Um, hey, if you're joining in, I appreciate y'all for joining in. Next, I'll have to say players who are not in their team's future plans get designated windows to transfer early, so they're not stuck waiting for months. Um, I have a little mix of feelings about when I was writing that down, and here's how I feel about that. You know, whenever you're staying at a program or you're transferring into a program or transferring out and into another, like you have to know what you're up against. You have to know the scheme of things. You have to know before you transfer there, how are you going to be built into the scheme of stuff. You have to know who's your competition, like things of that matter. So, yes, it it helped. I mean, stuck at their schools, but that's what happens to a lot of these kids. They all end up transferring to the same school, following false dreams, false hopes, money, which I'm not mad that college players are getting. So don't put any narratives out there. And then they go there and they sit. They're not being properly developed. They're not getting exposure. They're not getting the film that they need to get to the next level if they choose to do so. But I'm sure a lot of them are choosing to do so. Um, and they're kind of wasting time. They're wasting that year that they'll never get back. Next, I have this can help them find a new program and get a fresh start before the season. Um, but even when I was writing that, I was kind of thinking to myself, they could do that at their program right now. You have options like red shirt, you have stuff like that where you can kind of just sit out for that year and kind of develop yourself, learn the playbook a little bit more, watch film. If you feel like you tweaked the injury a year or two prior, and you feel like you might retweak it, you feel like you came back a little bit too early, you had the option to just sit out and just learn and just grow, strengthen yourself. So um, I will also say that this can potentially reduce mid-season chaos. So, let's say it's a team they go out and all the fans have high hopes and high expectations for the team, and then they go out there and basically they don't have the season that they expected to have. So now this player is stuck into school and they thought that they were going to have a decent season. Now there's a whole bunch of chaos in the locker room. Now there's a whole bunch of uh what's the word I'm looking for? There's a whole bunch of basically mishaps like going on within the program. Like players are giving up, the chemistry between the team is broken, and they're kind of just floating and existing inside the program. So that kind of limits that. And I'm speaking on the players who aren't getting any play time as well. Um, that's the only pros that I can think of. If y'all have any pros to why this might be occurring, please feel free and don't hesitate to drop that in the comment section as well. Let's talk about some of the disadvantages to this though. This is what I have. Um, sometimes players, when this starts to happen, is going to have limited control to them being designated on the list. And a player can make feel like, okay, I'm not in the conversation right now, or I'm not in the starting lineup right now, but I feel like if they just have faith in me, I'm gonna get there. Like I don't want my coaches to give up on me, type of thing. Man, they get put on that list. It's kind of like, ah, man, it's kind of like discouraging. It's like, man, like my coach really put me on that list. Like, do I really suck? Now, that's where you gotta. I'm not really. That's why you can't be too emotional. Like, if your coach is giving you feedback, if the coach end up putting you on the list, I mean, I'm sure that coach would have that conversation with you prior to that happening, letting you know, hey, why we're putting you on the list. Kind of like how the NFL works. Like, they call them into the room. before they get cut, just explain them, hey, hope the best of luck for you, but we just couldn't find you within our needs for our business needs, and we want to let you explore elsewhere. So it kind of it kind of remind me of like preseason cuts in a sense. Um, and another disadvantage is it's only a month before the season starts. It's like that. Like, why are y'all just deciding to do this now? Like, what if some of these players didn't know that this was going to happen? Like, they're kind of caught off guard. Now they got to go find another school, and they can't go find another school, and then they're stuck into the portal. Like little things like that. Like I feel like their timing was real like random. Like this was like real random. Like where did this come from? Um, and then now essentially that creates pressure for the players like to go find another school. And when I look at how many players are still in the portal currently that didn't find homes, I forgot the exact number that I calculated, but basically there's a ton of players that's still in the portal that still haven't found homes. So that list is only going to increase. You know what I mean? So next thing I also have is that it could also hurt players' chances of getting scholarships and standing out and actually even making the team there. You know what I mean? And getting a secure role. Now, if you get placed on that list, you have to come with that chip on your shoulder and go to another school because you're already being counted out. Um, you know, I just feel like players who get scholarships, they often build trust within the program after a point in time. Looking at I do a lot of Colorado. Looking at Charlie, Charlie was what you would call an original buff. He was there from before Coach Prime was even there. Coach Prime ended up giving him a scholarship. He stayed, he balled out, and he rocked out with the program. Didn't complain, and got better and better prior to where he used to be. And I feel like when these players are now has such a short window and they go to a program, they are acting what's what I'm looking for. They're going to react without thinking. There's going to be a lot of reacting without thinking when it starts to happen. Kids are just going to just start flying to schools, committing to schools just because. Um, Also keep in mind that some of these kids might get put on the list due to behavioral issues too, that we don't always hear about. It might not even be a player skill set. It could be behavior. It could be grades. You know what I mean? Um, I just feel like this rule change also just creates um, instability with the NCAA. Like they don't seem like they're in their stable mind at all. Like it's just a flip flop, flip flop, flip flop, flip flop. We went from the first transfer portal window, then we added this second one on, and now we got a third one a month before the season start. Like they sound unstable. They sound like they're just trying things. Like they're not really they're experimenting with this football stuff. Like I don't know who's in the upper room, who's making these decisions, but it's kind of like, what are you doing? Um, Another transfer window adds layers to an already complicated transfer portal system, making it harder for players and fans to follow them. So we have NIL and stuff like that. We have fan favorites. If they're now transferring again, it's like, oh my god, you know what I mean? it's a lot of chaos when it comes to this, and there's going to be a lot of mixed emotions when it comes to this. It doesn't necessarily affect me at all. I'm just kind of just speaking on it and giving you the rundown of what I think about it. And from the program that I follow the most, which is Colorado, you know, I would want to know how that's going to affect Colorado if it's going to affect them at all. Um, you know, Laporta might be jumping within these next, few days once July 7th hits. So, you know, do I expect any big names to jump into the portal or to be put into the portal? I should say no, but we just you just never know. You just never know. Let me know in the comment section what y'all think about this. Like, do y'all like that this is happening? Do y'all agree with this? Like, what do y'all think about this new window being added? I want to know what you guys think as well. Because I got mixed feelings about it. My whole thing is that NCAA, they just seem unstable with everything. Like, they don't seem like they know what they're doing at all whatsoever. But we know this about them. Like, this ain't nothing new. This ain't nothing new. This ain't nothing new at all. But that's all I have. Shorter video today. I just want to get on here and give y'all the updated news as quick as possible. Like I said, if you're stopping by for the first time, please subscribe and like the video for me. That helps me out a ton. And I guess we'll see what happens from July 7th through August 3rd. What up? August 5th. I guess we'll see what happens from that time frame and how that reshapes everything a month before the season starts. A month before this is diabolical. But yeah. But y'all have a blessed rest of y'all day. If any more information, big breaking news come out, I'll be sure to get that to y'all within the quickness. And I appreciate everybody for supporting the channel thus far. This channel can only grow with you guys, and I'm really thankful for y'all and family and subscribers and support that I do have in regards to this channel. But without further ado, I'll let y'all get on with y'all day. Y'all have a blessed rest of y'all day. Shank out.